So several months ago, this community initiated a Next Gen group. Next Gen is a movement within Centers for Spiritual Living, specifically for young adults. And our young adults, many of them are here today, sitting right here to my left. Welcome, oh yeah? And in their great wisdom and creativity, they're calling our group PDX Gen, which I love. And what some of you may know, but many of you may not know, is what this community, and specifically these young adults, are doing is first of its kind in Centers for Spiritual Living. We are the pilot having a local chapter for Next Gen. And this community, and a little bit Next Gen, I'm not going to steal too much of your talk, Aderyn, but what I know a little bit about Next Gen, or PDX Gen specifically, is they are about creating a spiritual community for young adults who want to engage with their spiritual sides of themselves. They want to do it through connection. They want to do it in community with authenticity. It's a big value of theirs, being authentic. And they want it to be a safe place where everyone belongs. What a beautiful thing this is that they're doing for our local young adults here in the Portland area. And I want to thank you because you contributed $1,800 for our young adults to help kind of subsidize their attending the annual retreat that Next Gen does. That is you showing tremendous support and welcoming for these young adults. So I thank you for that. Well, that retreat was a couple weeks ago, and they're back. And Aderyn Light, who is really your speaker today, I just get to do the introduction. Aderyn is the lead for PDX Gen, and she's going to share with us today what spirituality means for young adults and what we can do to support them in their spiritual growth, and as we kind of integrate together our kind of next chapter as PCSL and how we can all be in community together. It's a chance for us to listen and learn from one of our younger wisdom keepers. You know, we intend for this community to thrive. And to do that, we must evolve to meet the spiritual needs of everybody and across all the age groups, right? Church is not what it used to be. Spirituality is not what it used to be. And Aderyn has generously agreed to share her message with us, the evolution of spiritual worship, where our young adults are today. So I'm looking forward, Aderyn, to learning from you, learning some new language, new ways to do spirituality, and how we can be together. And so we're going to welcome Aderyn, and then after we do that, I think her friend Jada wants to say a few words. But first, let's give a huge welcome to Aderyn. You want to come on up, Aderyn? Thank you so much. And I'm going to welcome Jaden up here to say a few words about their friend. All right.
Hello again. Thanks for letting me take some of your time. I just wanted to share a quick story about us doing the pilot chapter for Next Gen. It's something that we're trailblazing and we're learning as we go. And we have really big ideas and we love all the ideas. And so I want to share a story about we were going to do a big old potluck in the park. And it was going to be a great adventure. We were going to have lots of food and lots of drinks and lots of party. And we were going to do a visioning to think about what we can create for our space, for our young adult group. And so we got like a flyer out, we got all these things, and leading up to it, it was getting closer and closer and closer, and we're like, we're not ready for this. This is still such a new thing that we have no clue what we're doing. And we were scared out of our minds. It took hours of us just being like, we don't know what to do, we don't know what to do. And then we pivoted. We took a breath, and we realized that we want connection. We want love, we want community. So we brought everybody over to the Aderyn's apartment, and people brought food, people brought drinks, and we did the visioning at the apartment. And it was small, and it was beautiful. And people wrote that they want community and connection and love. And it didn't have to be this big hurrah that we had dreamed of, which will happen someday in the future, I promise. It was exactly as it was meant to go. And Aderyn did a wonderful, wonderful job leading this visioning, a wonderful job creating this space for people to be seen and heard and loved. And so I just want to give a little extra love. And so, yeah. Thank you.
I actually don't need this.
I'll take that.
Yeah. And then there was one. I've never done this before. Never in my life have I been mic'd up and in front of an audience or a congregation like this. So I was worried about being cold and shaking up here, so I wore this thick jacket, and now I'm sweating. But fortunately, there's a little space between me and everyone else, so you can't smell me. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I thank you so much for those introductions and this celebration. Words are not enough, but that's all I've got for you right now. I have to disclaim that while I am speaking as the lead of PDX Gen and as a sort of representative of my demographic of people ages 19 to 35 who are looking for spiritual spaces, I can only speak from my own experience. I am just one person, and while I may be friends with lots of other people in that demographic, I don't have their background. In fact, I was raised in a completely different faith. And that faith is one that had a lot of community and a lot of programs and a lot of expectations. And those expectations did not sit well with me. And so I found myself without a spiritual community from ages 14 until 26. And it was rough to try to find myself and be a person and know that I'm okay without a space like this. I've noticed that there seems to be two sides of this community that I would really like to stitch together if I can. I've noticed that the faces I see here on Sundays, our regular Sunday service attendees, are a little bit different faces than the ones I see at the young adult gatherings. And at retreat, especially, that's where I see most of the faces that I really look forward to connecting with. And that community is the other space where I get the most valuable spiritual nourishment. I joined CSL about 2.5 years ago, I believe. I signed my name on the paper after like 3 services, I think, because it only took 2 for me to have this very, very intense revelation of spirit. I've actually had that kind of experience a few times in my life, interesting enough. Like I mentioned, I was raised in a different faith, and they, in that faith, offer you a decision of sorts when you're 8 years old to decide whether or not you're going to commit the rest of your eternity to that lifestyle or not, which is a little young and a little irresponsible. But even then, I knew that spirit was important to me, and that having a relationship with God was important to me, and that being in community was important. and that being close to my family was important. So I went ahead and did that thing. And I remember sitting in Sunday service as an 8-year-old, not listening to the talk at all, and looking at my scriptures and feeling about my baptism and feeling this really strong resonance of truth through my whole body. It may not have been the faith that suited me for the rest of my life, but I needed that experience. And I'm glad I've had it. And I'm glad I've gotten to move past it. Another interesting occasion when I got to have that sort of resonant truth in my body was when I actually did an initiation ritual for myself as a witch. I dabbled in Wiccanism for a little while, and I was reading through the book and looking at the information and feeling into what that process might be like, and that same sensation came over me. This is right for me.